Hello, Chris Godinez, licensed professional counselor, also the host of We Need to Talk on every Sunday here on YouTube, and then I post it up to Facebook. All right, the views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other damn therapist for that matter. If you feel you need a therapist, please go to Psychology Today, click on that link. It will have all of the therapists in your area. Go there if you feel you need a counselor. This is not a substitution for counseling. It is just an enhancement thereof. Okay. Hi, everybody. How you doing? Okay, so today, before we dive into today's topic, I wanted to cover a couple of things. So I am going to be on tour this next week. In the first week of February, I will be in California, and here are the dates. It is going to be February 2nd, San Diego, February 3rd, Irvine, February 4th, Santa Monica, February 6th, Santa Barbara, February 7th, San Luis Obispo, February 8th, San Jose, February 10th is San Francisco, February 12th is Sacramento, and in March 23rd, I will be in New Orleans. So there's that, and we've got the cruise that is going out of Florida on December 4th. So if you are interested in attending any and or all of those, really good idea to sign up early. That's because seats are limited, spaces are limited, especially for the cruise. So go ahead and sign up for that. That would be great. And you can do that on Eventbrite. You can just look up Chris Godinez Mercury Eventbrite, or Eventbrite Mercury Chris Godinez, and it should pop up all of the stuff. Now, I did have some trouble on my iPhone getting to the different dates and things, but if you go to a computer, it will definitely have all that stuff. And it could just be because, I am technologically impaired. So definitely go check that out. All right, so there is that. There are all the dates. Sign up for that on Eventbrite if you're interested in coming to hear me talk. And I will be giving away copies of my books, which is You Can Lead a Horse to Water, but you can't make him cha-cha, which is about why some people stay in abuse and other people get out. And this is about growing up in a family with opioid addiction, alcoholism, and a personality disorder. Yay, that was so much fun. Anyway, so those are the two books. And when I run out of my old book, I will be giving out these mugs. So, and if you're interested in purchasing one of these mugs, they are available for sale on eBay. So there that is. Oh my goodness. Hello, Netherlands. Good Lord. It's so exciting to me to see all of these people all over the world. It's very, very cool. So thank you. Thanks, you guys. And I also want to say thank you to the people listening out there, because I have received some of the nicest thank you notes and letting me know that you guys are healing and doing well and moving forward, and that these videos are helping. And I am honored to be a part of your journey. And thank you for letting me know that you're doing good. That warms the cockles of my heart. So here's to you guys. Okay, today's topic. All right, hang on. Let me take a glass of water, or drink of water. Hang on. Okay, today's topic is what to expect when you leave. So I've had several people instant message me and say, oh my gosh, I'm still having all of these symptoms. I don't understand. Is this normal? So let's talk about what to expect. I want you to think about what to expect physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and otherwise. Okay. So leaving a toxic, abusive relationship is not easy. It isn't. It on average takes 7 times leaving for the cognitive dissonance to finally clear, and for the fog, fear, obligation, and guilt to finally get out of the way, in order for the person to finally take a look at the relationship and go, oh, no, this is not healthy. So it takes 7 times before it finally sticks. When you finally leave the abusive relationship, you're going to have a plethora of symptoms. You're going to have a plethora of emotional stuff going on. You're going to have physical issues going on. And I want to talk about why. And I'm trying to get Brent Cameron. His wife is about ready to pop with her baby, so I'm not sure he's going to be able to come on anytime soon. But he's a naturopath, and I wanted him to talk about how the gut affects the body and the brain and our emotions and things like that. But we do experience a plethora of physical symptoms once we leave an abusive relationship. We experience a plethora of emotional symptoms, spiritual symptoms once we leave an abusive relationship. So I wanted to talk about that. So let's talk about post-traumatic stress disorder, or in our case, given that we were in an abusive relationship for, days, weeks, months, years, complex post-traumatic stress disorder. So what does this mean? Complex means that it happened over and over and over and over and over again. With quote unquote normal post-traumatic stress disorder, it's a one-time event. It's, there's a horrible car accident, you witness it, or you're in a bank robbery and your life could have been killed. You could have been killed. Or you witness somebody else being harmed or killed. So that is a one-time event. It doesn't happen every day. But with abuse survivors, it had happened every single day. The abusers are constantly, verbal put downs, putting you down, making you wrong, humiliating you in public, making you financially dependent upon them, making sure that you don't have transportation, making sure that you end up pregnant, or making sure that there is some connection to them that's not ever going to go away. This is abuse. So they do this to us day in, day out. And with some abusers, and I do want to talk a little bit about the different types of abuser, because I think people are under the assumption that all abusers are overt. Okay. No, not all abusers are overt. I wish they were. It would be so easy, because then you could be like, oh, yeah, I see you, because it's so freaking obvious. But the covert ones are the ones that are the sneakier ones, the nastier ones, the ones that get away with it for a hell of a lot longer. So overt are the ones who have absolutely no, their ego is running the show completely, the abusers. And their ego is telling them that nobody's going to notice, that they can behave carte blanche however they want to, and nobody's going to stop them, and nobody's going to care, and nobody's going to say anything, and nobody's going to do anything about it. They are the ones that will drag their partner into a public situation and start an argument with them and humiliate them in public. And it's usually sexual. So they will, say horrible things, or they'll disparage their parenting abilities, or they'll, do things like that in public. Those are the overt ones. They call names. They put down, they insinuate, they flaunt that they're looking at other partners or other people. They're very overt. They're so oblivious and they're so arrogant that they think that nobody's going to notice or nobody's going to say anything, which is, crazy. So those are the overt ones. The overt ones are the ones that don't see anything wrong with their behavior, and they do it in public. Okay. The covert ones. Okay. They are the sneaky ones. These are the ones that behave one way in public and completely different behind closed doors. Okay. So they will present as the loving, wonderful spouse. Everybody loves them. But then you get behind closed doors, and this same person who's treating Joe Stranger like a king or a queen is berating and screaming at their kids, berating and screaming at their spouse, cheating, sexual affairs, porn, etc. And it's all behind closed doors. So, abuse is not always physical. This is the thing I have to keep telling people, is that, I get people that say, well, they never hit me. Okay, did they hit you with words? Because the words, I think, are a lot times more damaging than what a fist can do. So not to devalue, physical abuse, because that is just as damaging, but it's like the verbal stuff sticks. Bruises heal. But when somebody tells you you're ugly, when somebody puts you down, when somebody harms you, when somebody, goes out of their way to be malicious, when somebody goes out of their way to say nasty, mean, awful, horrible things on a daily basis, that sticks in your psyche. And especially because when they first came at us, they did the love bombing. Oh, I love you. You're the perfect match. You're my soulmate. You're this, you're that. You like pizza, I like pizza. You like ice cream, I like ice cream. You like to ice skate, I like to ice skate. It's Hans, basically, Hans and Anna from Frozen. That is a great description of love bombing. It's like I could have kissed the writers. I really could have. So they love bomb and they get us to fall in love with ourselves because they're mirroring us to us. I know that's the mind blower. It's like, what? I fell in love with myself? Well, yeah, kind of. Because they mirrored you back to yourself. So, and if you're a good person, that's going to be a great feeling. It's going to be like, oh my gosh, this person gets me. Oh my gosh, this is awesome. Then as the relationship goes on, if they're overt, it's going to, the mask drops really quickly. And then they're just vicious, in public all the time, doing things, that a normal person wouldn't do. If they're covert, they hide when they're in public, and then all of the abuse occurs behind closed doors. So that's where you get the communal narcissists, the ones who are the pillars of the community, but it turns out they're, knee deep into all sorts of nefarious stuff. So anyway, covert is very damaging. And what abusers do is they call names, they do all sorts of horrible things to harm our sense of self. Their whole goal is to tear down who we are and remake us in their rotten image. So in other words, if somebody is an upstanding person and has a heart and a soul and is a good person and doesn't lie, they will set about to take that away from that person and create a liar. That's what they do. And that's why it takes so long to get out of abuse, because the abuser has literally hijacked our personality, hijacked who we are, told us who we are. And because of the cognitive dissonance, the fear, the obligation, and the guilt, we believe them because reality is too painful. Because remember, I talked about all that with the inner child. So this is all connected to the inner child work. And it's hard to snap out of it and go, this isn't who I am. When did I become this person? I'm not mean. I'm not nasty. I'm not a liar. I'm not this. I'm not that. When did I become this person? And then once we do snap out of it, now we've got to deal with the aftermath. So this is what I wanted to talk about. So post-traumatic stress disorder. Let me grab my book. All right. So directly experiencing a traumatic event. Yeah. Over and over and over and over every day, every night. There are some abusers. Now, not all abusers abuse in the same way. There are some abusers who don't do the whole screaming at night and keeping you up, but a hell of a lot of them do. So they do the whole, not letting you sleep, picking as you're going to bed to be the time to bring up a particularly sensitive topic or something that they know is going to be a hot button topic that's going to create an argument. And then they'll rage on into the night. They'll scream, they'll throw stuff, they'll, do all sorts of things. These abusers are the ones that want you to be sleep deprived so that you're more easily malleable. So if somebody is keeping you from sleeping, that's what they're doing. Okay. Witnessing in-person events or events that occurred to others. So if we've got kids, or if we are in the family and we are watching a family member target and pick out the scapegoat and scream at them and beat them and harm them and say horrible things to them, that's going to create post-traumatic stress disorder. You cannot watch another human being being harmed and escape unscathed. And if you do, you're probably a psychopath. So, it's like normal people feel, we empathize, we can put ourselves in somebody else's shoe and go, oh my God, that's awful. Do you see where I'm going with that? So if we witness somebody being abused, it is just as frightening as if it were happening to us. Why? It's because of our amygdala. I'm going to get to that in a minute. Okay. Experiencing repeated or extreme exposure to, extensive details of the event. So, hearing it, reliving it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So basically, I don't want to go through all of the post-traumatic stress signs and symptoms because I've done it before in other things, but I want to validate. Go look it up. You will be experiencing chronic and, awful post-traumatic stress disorder. So in PTSD, what ends up happening is we have this whole subset of behaviors. This is in the DSM-5. You can look it up on Mayo if you want to read through all of the signs and symptoms of PTSD. And it's the same for complex post-traumatic stress disorders, just that it happened to us over and over and over and over and over and over and over for days, weeks, months, years. So what happens is there's a set of symptoms that we will develop. One is constantly on alert, on alert, on alert. Where's the danger? Where's the danger? Where's the danger? Hypervigilance. So we will be hypervigilant. We're going to be constantly, anything that reminds us of the abuser, we're going to be triggered. Absolutely. We're going to be irritable because we've got all of these emotions going on that are now maybe safe to start expressing now that we're out of the abuse. But because of the abuse, our amygdala is still acting as if it was here and now. Oh my God, I can't think about that. I can't talk about that. I can't express this. I can't tell anybody. My abuser told me to keep it quiet, blah, 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 blah. So we get very irritable because now we're starting to feel. And I suspect a lot of the emotions that we are feeling are sadness and anger, because it was never okay in an abusive relationship to have any emotion other than sunshine and happiness, because that's the only thing that abusers want to deal with. They don't want to hear it if you're having a bad day. They don't want to hear it that you're sad, that they screamed at you. They don't want to hear it that you're angry, that they treated you poorly. They don't want to hear it. They can't deal with emotions because they can't deal with their own emotions. So when we are experiencing post-traumatic stress disorder, we're going to be irritable, you bet. There is going to be sleep disturbances, you betcha. So, you'll dream. You'll dream of the abuser. It's similar to having a drug dream because we were so addicted to that intermittent positive rewards that our little addict brain goes, where the hell is my drug of choice? And we're missing the positive part. Okay. We don't miss the abuse. This is something that pisses me off when people are like, they didn't leave because they liked the abuse. Fuck you, sideways with an unlubricated baseball bat, you son of a fucking bitch. That's bullshit. What we get addicted to are the moments when the abuser is kind to us and shows us that glimpse of that love bombing that we so desperately want to get back to. What we have to realize is that was an illusion. That person never really existed. They were mirroring us back to us. So there's going to be a lot of emotion coming out. There's going to be anger. There's going to be betrayal. There's going to be, disappointment. There's going to be disgust. There's going to be all sorts of stuff. It's going to cause you to be irritable. Abso-freaking-lutely. So we dream about our abuser. We do, because it was our drug of choice. It was. And that intermittent positive rewards kept us hooked like a fish. It did. So we're going to have drug dreams about our abuser. We're going to dream of them. That does not mean that it's a sign from the universe to get back with them. No. All it is your brain going, where the hell's my dopamine? Where the hell is my endorphins? Where the hell is my serotonin? And because we are so used to that chaotic rush, and then the crash, so we've got to get used to calm. We have to get used to calm. We have to get used to no chaos. So we're going to experience all of these things when we come out of an abusive relationship. So the other thing that we're going to have is poor sleep, because of the dreams, or we just don't sleep because our brain is going at 100,000 million miles an hour. And we're thinking of, well, what if I did this? And what if I'd said this? And what if I twisted myself into a pretzel? And how come they did this? And why didn't they love me? And da-da-da-da-da. And we're driving ourselves crazy. And so we don't sleep. So we either have a hard time going to sleep, or we go to sleep, but then we wake up at 2:00 in the morning and we're staring at the ceiling going, oh, wow. Well, this, that, and the other thing, and this, that, and the other thing. And what if I did this? And what if I did that? And what if he did this? And what if she did that? And what if It's exhausting. It's exhausting. So I want you to look up PTSD. I've done previous videos on that. I want you to look up all the signs and symptoms because those are all going along with complex post-traumatic stress disorder, all of them. So you're going to have flashbacks. Something's going to remind you of them. You're going to be thrown back into something that they said. Now, when they say hurtful, horrible, awful, terrible things about ourselves, because we loved them, we believed them. And it's hard to undo that, not impossible. Okay, so recovering and healing is going to be a multi-pronged process. Your body is exhausted. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on with the body. When you are in a heightened state of alertness all the time, when you are having flashbacks, when you are dealing with nasty thoughts that are not even yours, that got shoved into there by the abuser, you are going to wear your body down. Okay. So what ends up happening, and I've explained it before, but I'm going to explain it again. When we come out of an abusive relationship, our amygdala is on high alert. And this little guy, remember, is truly, oh my God, three O's, stupid. Cannot tell the difference. Okay. So, what this does is anytime we have a threat, anytime we have a thought about a threat, anytime. So, we could just think about the abuser. We could think of a situation where they've harmed us. We could think of a situation where they put us down. We could think of a situation where fill in the blank. This guy goes into high alert, tells the hippocampus and the hypothalamus that sit on either side of it, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, we need more energy. We need something. We need to go. We need to go. These guys release cortisol, which is our stress hormone, which causes us to not sleep, which causes us to hang on to every single fat cell that comes along. Thank you, you little bastard cortisol. And it causes us to tense up. Why? Because our body is responding as if that thought were real. Okay. This is why getting into EMDR is huge to deal with the trauma. EMDR, EFT, DBT, CBT, any of it, start dealing with the trauma, because this little guy is going to keep us stuck too, because it's going to keep going here now, here now, here now, here now, here now, as opposed to, no, that happened in the past. I get to deal with it and I don't need to freak out and release cortisol. So we're tensing up because we're getting ready to go fight whatever's trying to harm us, flight, running away, or freeze. Oh my God, if I just stay quiet enough, maybe they'll go away, or give in, fawn to the abuse. So it's our bodies are like, how do I explain this? It's kind of like, okay, have you guys ever had like too much coffee? I do that a lot. But you're like, but never goes down. It's like it never just goes calm again. We stay at this level of because we're constantly on alert. So you have to retrain your amygdala, your brain, your thoughts to calm them down, which is where EMDR, EFT, CBT, DBT, any of these therapies come into play, because you have to remind yourself you are safe. You are out of it. Stand down, amygdala. Stand the fuck down. We don't need the cortisol. We don't need the adrenal gland to start releasing. So, all right, these two release the cortisol, right? Okay, we're tense. Now we're not breathing. There's no oxygen CO2 exchange. It tells another part of our brain further down on the brainstem, oh my freaking God, we really are going to die. So then that tells the body to release all of the adrenaline at once. The adrenal gland goes, and now we're sitting there with adrenaline and we're shaking and we've got racing thoughts and we're, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So, but the problem of it is that with complex post-traumatic stress disorder, there is no saber-toothed tiger out there. It's all thoughts. And this thing is making us be on high alert 24/7. So eventually what ends up happening is we get burnout. We get burnout. We get exhausted. Our adrenal glands finally look at us and go, you know what? I'm done, and they stop producing, and it's no bueno. So, and it's called adrenal burnout, and the body reacts in other ways. Cortisol jacks up your blood pressure. It jacks up your heart rate. It jacks up everything. So it's really, really important to start working on you after the trauma, because there's a whole bunch of physical stuff. So let's talk about the depression. Holy cow. After we come out of an abusive relationship, we are going to feel depression. We absolutely are. Aside from the post-traumatic stress disorder, which is anxiety, we are going to feel depression. Why? Because we loved that person that we thought was our person. We loved them. And now we have to deal with the fact that they never loved us. They never loved us. People who love do not behave like that. People who love do not harm another person. People who love do not hurt another person. People who love do not lie to another person. The biggest bullshit that abusers do is everybody lies because they're justifying their own behavior, and then they want the target of abuse to start lying themselves. So when we come out of it, we also start taking a look at what did we do? How did we pick up fleas? Ooh, I don't like these behaviors. Oh my God, this is depressing. Yeah, it is. Absolutely. I want to validate, we picked up fleas from our abuser. But the beautiful news is, if we picked up the fleas, that means it's a learned behavior. If it's a learned behavior, it can be unlearned and replaced with a healthy behavior. So you squish those fleas. You gots to, because if you don't, you're going to be in big trouble. So there's going to be depression. So what does depression look like? Depression looks like anything from clinical depression, which is literally cannot get up out of the bed, don't want to shower, don't want to eat, don't want to do anything. I just want to lay here. Okay, that's clinical depression. That's when the brain is not producing enough of the feel-good chemicals to give us the motivation to get up and go do stuff. That's clinical. If you are at that point, please go to your primary care physician, go to your psychiatrist, go to some clinic and start on antidepressants. You have to. So clinical depression is no different than any other organ in the body that's not producing the correct amount of whatever it's supposed to produce. So for example, when people are on insulin, it's because their pancreas is not producing insulin. They need the help to get the right amount of insulin going, whether it's a pill that helps the pancreas or whether it's actually taking insulin. It's the same thing with antidepressants. So are you going to be on them forever? You may be. You may be. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. You need to talk to them. Some people can take them and get back up to a normal level, and then their life starts going, and then they're able to wean themselves off, and they're fine. Other people, the brain just goes, nope, and it doesn't produce the right amount of endorphins, dopamine, serotonins, norepinephrines, etc. And they're the ones that have to stay on it the rest of their lives. So it depends. You need to talk to your doc. So there is that. So yes, we go through physical symptoms when we leave abuse. Okay, so we have physical symptoms in regards to being in the abuse and coming out of it. You are going to feel weird. You are going to feel all sorts of stuff. So, okay, Chris is telling me that a lot of the questions are off topic. So I'd love to answer questions that are on this topic. We can save the off topic ones for another Q&A session. So if you could please stay on topic, that would be very helpful. So, okay, getting back to it. So we are going to experience emotional stuff. We are going to experience physical symptoms. You're not going to feel safe. You're not. You're going to feel like, who do I trust? Who can I trust? You're going to question yourself. You're going to have second guessing going on. And this is normal in leaving abuse. So it's really a matter of understanding that you have been in a hostage situation for days, weeks, months, years. Your body, your amygdala, your brain is processing thoughts about that situation as if it were happening here and now. So what can you do about the panic attacks? What can you do about the flashbacks, the irritability, the inability to sleep, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? So basically what it all boils down to is breathing. I know it's like, oh my God, Chris, that's too simple. It's got to be more complicated than that. No, really, the brain, honest to God, is really not that complex. I mean, it is, but it's not. So with panic attacks, with all of these thoughts, all of these feelings, all of this blah, 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 going on, right? It's a matter of breathing, because once you start breathing like true, deep, slow breaths, it tells the brain, okay, stop. We don't need the adrenal gland to be pumping out adrenaline. We're not running from anywhere. We're not going anywhere. There's nobody to fight. There's nobody to kill. There's nobody to run away from. There's nobody to give into. There's no, this is all thoughts. Okay. So we start breathing and it calms that part of the system down. Then as we self-soothe and we say, I'm safe, I'm okay, everything's fine. There is no saber-toothed tiger out to kill me. I'm okay, I'm all right, everything's okay. And then the cortisol stops being produced. The hippocampus and the hypothalamus go, oh, well, there's no threat. We don't need to keep doing this. And then the amygdala calms down because you're breathing and you're self-soothing. The thoughts are self-soothing. It's like, my abuser's not anywhere near me. I'm safe. I'm okay. Everything's fine. everything's all right. So breathing is the key. And I strongly recommend to anyone coming out of an abusive relationship, get into a counselor. Get into a goddamn good counselor who understands trauma, who understands personality disorders, and understands complex post-traumatic stress disorder. Start working EMDR, start doing EFT, start doing DBT, start doing CBT. Just do it. The other thing you're going to want to do is start looking up meditations that are breathing meditations. When we are living in trauma, okay, we've got somebody that's constantly at us, whether it is a coworker, a boss, a parent, a romantic partner, a sibling, a friend, whatever, then this person is going to cause us to be in a constant state of fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And so we don't breathe. So we learn very quickly that we're not breathing. I mean, check it out. Are you guys taking slow, deep breaths that go all the way down? Or are you still taking little teeny tiny puffy breaths that don't go anywhere? You must become mindful of your body. The body and the mind are not separate. And this is where people get all messed up because they think somehow that they're not related. They're together. They are together. Okay. So breathing is huge. Now at night, what I like to tell people to do is if you cannot breathe, and I've said this before and I'm going to say it again, or if you cannot breathe, hello, if you can't breathe, you're dead. If you cannot sleep, sorry, if you cannot sleep, what you try first is you do a breathing exercise where you start tensing and releasing muscles. You start at your feet and you breathe and you tense and you release. At the same time, I'm safe. I'm okay. It's all right for me to sleep. Everything's fine. Then you move up to the calves. Tense, release. I'm safe. I'm okay. Everything's fine. And then you just keep moving up your body. Okay. For me, by the time I get to my chest, I'm generally sawing Z's because I'm out. So, but for some people, they don't because their brain is just, can't disengage, can't disengage, can't disengage. At that point, if you cannot get your body to reset by doing the breathing and you do it really slowly, it's not going to be like okay, here's the feet. Okay, here's the calves. Okay, here's the thighs. Okay, here's the, no. Breathe in. Take another breath. I'm safe. I'm okay. Everything's fine. I can sleep now. It's all good. Nothing's going to harm me. I am protected. It's great. Do you see where I'm going with that? Really slow, tensing and relaxing, breathing, self-soothe. If for some reason that does not work, you want to get up out of bed and go right. And don't do it in your bedroom because eventually what our brains do, because again, remember I said the brains are kind of basically stupid. They start associating the bed or the bedroom with not sleeping. You don't want that. You don't want that. You want to associate the bedroom with sleeping. You absolutely do. So if you cannot get a good night's sleep, if you can't go to sleep after doing the breathing stuff, get up, walk out, go into another room, grab your journal, and write down what your brain is telling you. Just, okay, brain, what are you worried about? Let's write it out. Okay, is there anything I can do about it right now? Well, no, it's 2:00 in the morning, so I really can't do anything, but I promise you first thing in the morning I will. So you just write it out or you grab a book and you start reading. So you start doing things like that. And then once you feel like, okay, I've set it down, I've put it onto paper, let's go try again. Then you do the tensing and relaxing again and see if you fall asleep. And the story I love to tell, people are always like, well, does that really work? Yes, it does. So a few years ago, we had a substitute mailman that would do our mail. And for some bizarre reason, he just would not deliver my mail. And so it took me 2 weeks to realize I hadn't gotten any mail. So of course I realized this at 3:00 in the morning. So I sat straight up. Oh my God, I haven't had mail for 3 weeks. What am I going to do? I've got to, oh crap. Okay, I need to make a list. So I grabbed my notepad and I made a list. Okay, I got to call the bank tomorrow. I've got to call the post office tomorrow. I've got to call this person tomorrow. I've got to call that person tomorrow. Okay, is there anything I can do right now? No, it's 3:00 in the morning. Okay, I set my pad down. I literally fell back into the bed asleep because my brain went, okay, we did something. So brains are really kind of simplistic that way. Okay, getting some questions now. So please stay on topic. Please stay on topic. If you're going to ask other questions, let my admin know that this is for a Q&A that you want this question answered, because today I am just going to stay on topic with the aftermath of abuse and what we are going to be up against. Okay. All right. Is it okay to take medication to ease panic attacks and anxiety? Yeah, it is. I am not a huge fan of medications, period. I mean, I would much rather do things herbally, and I would much rather, although that is a medication when you think about it, but I would much rather do things homeopathically. But yeah, are they needed? Yeah, if we cannot control, if we ourselves are having a hard time managing the panic attacks, managing the amygdala, managing the stuff that goes on, then yeah, I am a fan of taking meds until we learn the coping skills to start working with that. And then you can start easing yourself off of those meds. Abso-freaking-lutely. Okay, so there is that question answered. Spiritually speaking, people suffer almost like a existential crisis when they leave an abusive relationship. It's like everything they knew got thrown on their head. And especially if the abuser was religious and used religion to abuse, that is going to mess with your head. It is. So it's really, really, really important to find yourself. Who were you before the abuse? What were your moral compasses before the abuse? Who were you? What did you believe in before the abuse? Because like I said, the abuser will come in and take away everything that makes you you. Like I said, if you're a sweet, kind, gentle, truthful person, they will set about to make you an awful, horrible, terrible, mean person that lies. So you've got to figure out who you were before the abuser came into your life. What was your religious beliefs then? What was your spiritual beliefs then? Is that something you want to go back to? You've got to find it for you. You can't look to somebody else to tell you who you are. You've got to look to you to tell you who you are. Does that make sense? Question. I can't sit still and need to be moving all the time. Is this one of the symptoms of anxiety, of PTSD? How can I calm down? It can be. It depends. Were you this way prior to the abuse? Because there are just some people that have a hard time sitting down, So if you're one of those people that's like, literally a busybody, like you can't just sit still, that just may be who you are. If it's bothering you, if it's a problem, because remember, things are only a problem when they're a problem. If it's bothering you that you can't enjoy the calm or you can't just sit and be, then you're going to want to look at why. So for some people, what they tell me is that their abuser had said things like, you're lazy. You're a slob, you're lazy, you're this, you're that. Anytime they did anything for themselves, the abuser would come in and make them wrong for just sitting, or make them wrong for resting, or make them wrong for buying themselves something. So we get trained by the abuser to not feel okay sitting, to not feel okay resting, to not feel okay buying ourselves something. Okay. One person had said they'd just gotten out of an abusive relationship, and somebody had asked them, if you won the lottery, what would you do with it? And they immediately were like, well, I'd give it to my abuser. What? Are you insane? No, and then working with that, it's the guilt. It's the I owe them this. I owe them this. I owe them this. No, you don't. You don't. But our abusers have trained us that we owe them everything. Like, even though they've taken everything, they will still come in and go, okay, I've taken everything and I want more. And our little abused brain, and it goes back to the inner child, thinks that we need to continue to appease them once we've left them. No, you do not. You do not. You don't owe them jack diddly squat. But our brains think we do. So we get programmed by the abuser to not be okay sitting, to not be okay resting, to not be okay meditating, to not be okay taking care of ourselves, because we then feel guilty. And we feel obligated. Well, I should be doing something else. I should be cleaning the house. I should be doing this. We're shoulding all over ourselves. Stop. That's what our abuser wants. Our abuser wants us to never rest. And if we are doing something, it needs to be about them. So we have been trained like a monkey that, oh, we have to be doing it for them, or we have to be in constant motion, or, oh my gosh, I'm lazy and I'm a slob and I'm this and I'm that if I sit. No, you're not. Rest is needed. The human body must rest. But I'll tell you what, the abuser sure as hell doesn't want us to, because if we're exhausted, we're easier to manipulate. So there is that. How can you calm down? First of all, it's giving yourself permission. That is the big thing, because what is the one thing that abusers do to us is they take away the permission for us to be us. They want us to be them. They do. They want us to be made in their image. So you have to start working on self-esteem. You have to start working on boundaries. You have to start working on who you are and what do you want. And is it okay for you to rest? Is it okay? Do you give yourself permission? What is that inner child saying? Is it okay for the inner child to rest? Did you have a parent or a caregiver that groomed you that it wasn't okay for you to play? That it wasn't okay for you to rest, that it wasn't okay for you to be a kid? Work on inner child stuff, work on self-esteem, work on boundaries, work on permission, looking in that mirror and going, hi, good to see you. Have a great day. Guess what? I give you permission to rest. It's okay. It's okay. And then you just move forward with that. So yeah, it would be interesting to figure out if you can figure out where that came from. Where did that non-permission to rest come from? So there's that. And calming down, you give yourself permission. You give yourself permission and you breathe. And you do it a little at a time. So when I first started meditating, I couldn't do it for more than 5 minutes. I couldn't. Because my body and my mind was like, nope, gotta go, because that was my family. It was a constant rush. Everything was rushed. It's like if you were eating breakfast, well, hurry up and eat. Hurry up, we gotta go. Hurry up and eat. And if we were going anywhere, well, hurry up and do this, hurry up and do that. And there was no sense of resting. And if you were resting, then one of the abusers would come by and start screaming at us that we were lazy, and that we were, what was my grandmother was an abusive POS as well. When she came to visit, she would do that. She would, you're lazy and you're so spoiled and you should be beaten. And I'm just like, holy shit, bitch. So yeah, you get that non-permission. So you've got to go back through and figure out who gave the non-permission. And then what you can do too is you can write them a letter and burn it. Dear grandma, you're a fucking cunt bitch and I don't like you. So go fuck yourself sideways in hell where I hope you're roasting. And guess what? I am going to give myself permission to rest because you're not the boss of me. Fuck you. See where I'm going with that? So yes, I used the C word. Anyway, the point being is, and she was, oh God, if you'd seen this woman, all you need to do is read this book to know what she was like. Yay. So the point being is you give yourself permission. And there's somebody in our life that said, no, it's not okay. So when I first started meditating, no, I couldn't do it for more than 5 minutes at a time. Why? Because I heard that bitch's voice in my head. I did. I heard that you're lazy, you're this, you're that, you guns. I heard my dad's voice in my head. Well, you should be doing this. You should be doing that. So that's shoulding all over yourself. It's a mental mind fuck is what it is. It is. It's a way to make yourself feel bad. And it's learned from the abusers. You should, you could, you would. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. It's not going to help you. So you give yourself permission and then you start lengthening your meditation time. So I've been doing meditation for years now. And it was funny because I did a class with my intuitive group and we had these two teachers from Scotland came out and we were doing a meditation and I thought it was like 5 minutes. It was like almost an hour. So it was really cool. And it was really validating to see that with practice and with permission, I could meditate for almost an hour. That was really cool. And it all had to do with A, permission, and B, breathing. It was breathing. It was like just breathing, and then the guided imagery and that type of thing. So breathing really is the key to giving ourselves, our body, a break. We got to breathe. We've got to be able to give permission, and we've got to be able to breathe. So that's where that is. And it takes practice. And you start small. You set a goal of 5 minutes. That's a pretty good goal. Do 5 minutes a day for like a month. Do it. And then the next month, increase it by a couple of minutes. Okay, I'm going to do 7 minutes a day. And you set a timer and you do it. And oftentimes what will end up happening is the timer goes off and you're like, nope, I'm not done yet. And then you just keep going. So it takes practice. It does. It takes practice and it takes permission, the 2 P's, practice and permission, practice and permission. You got to give yourself permission to practice, and then you practice and you do it and you breathe and you tell those voices to fuck off. Nope. You know what? This is self-care. I get to take care of myself. I do not need to believe your bullshit. Thanks for playing. Thank you for your input. Shut the fuck up. Why? Because I say so. See where I'm going with that? Okay. I hope that answers the question. So basically it's permission to calm down. It's permission to sit. It's permission to meditate. It's permission to rest. It's permission to do taking care of you. So there it is. Can hoarding be a side effect? Oh, yes. Of leaving an abusive relationship. Boy, am I glad you mentioned that. Yes. Guess what? Trauma causes hoarding. It is the #1 cause of hoarding. Absolutely. So what ends up happening, and it depends on the person. Not everybody who's been through trauma hoards, okay? But when you see a hoarder, you look at the root cause. There is inevitably some trauma that they went through. So what it is in the little child brain, inner child, the inner child is going, lack and scarcity, lack and scarcity, lack and scarcity. I've got to hang on to everything because I'm going to lose it. They're going to go away. They're going to abandon. They're going to leave. We're not going to have enough money. We're not going to have enough food. We're not going to have enough. See where I'm going with that? So it's a fear. It's a lack and scarcity fear. And so what hoarders do is they hang on to all of these worthless things that will not really make a difference, but it makes them feel in their minds secure. It helps them feel like I have enough, I have enough, I have enough, but it's never enough. If you've seen some of these hoarders' houses, that's why I can't watch the thing on I don't know if it's A&E or whatever, but the houses are filled literally floor to ceiling with just junk, but it makes the hoarder, the traumatized inner child, feel secure because I have stuff, I have stuff, I have stuff, I have stuff, I have stuff. I'm okay. I have stuff. Does that make sense? So yes, trauma is absolutely the root cause of hoarding. And it comes from lack and scarcity. And it comes from, again, the inner child. The inner child is the one running the show because the adult's not running the show. An adult can take a look at that situation and go, okay, having 27 jars of bent, rusty nails is not going to make me any safer, right? But to an inner child, to a 4-year-old, to a 3-year-old, to a 2-year-old, to however old they were when the damage happened, they're going to see those bent, rusty nails as their lifeline. Well, I have them. I can straighten them out. I can use them. I can use them. Yeah, I can use them. They really do. And they do sound like children when they are talking about their hoarding. And it is based in trauma. Abso-freaking-lutely. And it's based in a fear of lack and scarcity, not having enough. Absolutely. So yes, it can be a side effect of leaving an abusive relationship. Absolutely. And it depends on when the original damage happened. So that's why it's really important to get with a good therapist and start working through the trauma. Okay. I hope that answered the question. If it didn't, let me know. What do you do when the possibility of physical violence is real? Ooh, my abuser is in jail for drug charges. This is my opportunity to get away safely. He's threatened my life. Advice. Okay, you get away. You've got your break. This is a God wink. This is God going, God, Boofa Baba, Buddha, whoever. The light, the universe saying, get out! Do it. Do it, do it, do it. Make a clean break. You can get a different name. You can if you need to. If it's to the point where it's like, oh my God, I am going to die. So what you do is you contact the domestic violence shelters. They will help you with that. You can contact Catholic Charities. They have a place or a program called Pathways, which is for domestic violence victims. It offers free counseling for domestic violence survivors. Okay. You can also call women's resource, Fresh Start Women's Resource Centers. And definitely get yourself hooked up with that. Now, here's the deal. If he has threatened you or she has threatened you, because I don't know who the spouse is, it could be male or female. And believe me, females can be just as dangerous as males. What you want to do is, if you need to, you file an order of protection. You do, and you get a paper trail going, because if this person is an obsessive ex, they don't stop. They don't stop, because remember, narcissists cannot handle not winning. So when they don't win, the mask slips even farther, and they do whatever in their minds it takes to bring you back into the fold. So, you want to get a hold of a domestic violence shelter. You want to get a hold of Catholic Charities Pathways program. Absolutely. If you need to, I mean, he's in jail right now. If you can, bug out, get out, go no contact, cut off every avenue that they could possibly connect with you with. That means social media. That means, changing your phone number. That means informing family and friends and going, you don't know where I am. If you need to move out of the area, frickin' move out of the area. Absolutely. If you have to file a restraining order, do it. Violence is a very real possibility with these people. Not all abusers do it, but a good majority of them do. And if they are obsessive X, if they are, dark triad, and we're talking psychopath, hello, Machiavellian, control freak, and a narcissist, their ego is not going to handle that you are not their favorite punching bag. And they have been known to stalk, and they have been known to harm. So the other thing you're going to want to do is, once you get out and you get safe, you're going to want to take a safety course, some sort of self-defense course. I would strongly suggest, so here in Arizona, I can conceal carry, and I do. I also have pepper spray because I'm not messing around. So, in some states you can use mace, other states it's illegal. So find out what's legal in your state and go get trained. Go get trained. You definitely want to take this opportunity to get out, but you're going to have to make sure that there is no way for the abuser to contact you. Like when you do, you go dark. You absolutely go dark. So you're going to talk to the domestic violence shelters about going dark. What can I do to go dark? This person has threatened my life. I might need to change my name. I definitely need to change my phone number. What do I do? How do I do this? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So there you go. I hope that helps. And the other thing of it is too, is you have to make sure that your family's not flying monkeys. Family and friends, if you suspect anybody of being in contact with this person, cut contact with them as well. And at this point, this is when most people go, oh my God, I'm going to be alone. Oh my God, blah, blah, blah. Here's the deal. You're going to have to do that. These people are toxic. If they are condoning what the abuser is doing, if you are being beaten by them, if they are threatening your life and these people are still talking to them, they are not your friend. You are better off alone. Trust me on that one. So make sure that you have no contact. Like there's no way for that abuser to ever come back into your life. So I hope that helps. Okay, I suffered a severe assault a few months ago by my spouse going through divorce with protective order. Nightmares have stopped, but now I wake up in a panic. How long does this last? Unfortunately, it can last years. It can. Think of it this way. When something traumatic has happened and it's a mind blower, it's like, how could this person do this? How could this person behave this way? How could, whatever. Our minds are constantly trying to make sense of the insensible. Okay. So the panic attacks can last for quite a while because remember, amygdala can't tell the difference between a dream, a thought, it's all the same threat to it. So we can be having subconscious thoughts that we're not even aware of and wake up in a panic attack. Absolutely. So it's really going to be a matter of you feeling as safe as you possibly can. So that means working with a counselor, making sure there's a paper trail like you have a protective order, documenting any and all contact with this person, only doing contact with this person through email, right? Or texts. It has to be written because remember, abusers lie and they will twist things. So you want to have a written record of whatever they're saying or doing. So the other thing too that is incredibly empowering is taking a self-defense course. Absolutely. Is the panic attacks going to go forever? No, they don't. But until you are done with the divorce and until you are Feeling safer, yes, they're going to be there because that's always on your mind. That's just the way our brain works. Your amygdala is trying to keep you safe. It's not helping. So what you may want to do is before you go to sleep, what I suggest to people is you do some guided imagery. You know, you imagine yourself safe. You imagine yourself surrounded by angels. You imagine yourself surrounded by gold light. I'm safe. I'm okay. I'm protected. Everything's fine. I don't need to panic. It's okay for me to sleep. I don't need to worry about this person. I'm turning them over to the universe. It's okay. So, you do things like that, and that can help. It does help in a lot of cases. Some people it doesn't, but, it does help in a majority of the cases. So you want to work on that. So, is it going to last forever? No. Is it going to last as long as you're continuing to have contact with this jerk? Yeah, probably every once in a while you will have dreams like that. The other night, my dad's been dead for 96. He died in 96? No, he died in 97. So he died in 97. So it's been 97, 07, 17. It's been 22 years. And I had a dream about him the other night. And it's because of the work I do, because I'm constantly dealing with, dysfunctional families and trying to protect kids and this, that, and the other thing. And it was like, whoa, why did I have this dream? That was disturbing, So it does happen, and you just love yourself and forgive yourself and remind yourself you're safe and it's okay, and give yourself permission to rest and journal. Journal, get it out of your head, get it onto paper, burn it. Help the brain let things go. Super important. I hope that answered the question. If it didn't, let me know, and I can try to give you a better one, but that's my suggestion. Okay, my drug-addicted parent that I was caring for all my life has passed away. All the drama, abuse, and problems just stopped. However, I am still feeling panic all the time and tense, waiting on something to happen. Is this normal? Yes, it is. What do I do? Okay, so when we have been in abuse for days, weeks, months, years, our bodies become addicted, or not addicted, but our bodies become used to the chaos. It becomes used to the when's the other shoe going to drop. So I know for me, when I first got with John, John was always like, why are you always waiting for something horrible to happen? Because that was my thing. It was like, well, something horrible is going to happen. Something horrible is going to happen. Something horrible is going to happen. I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. And I realized it was because of the training from my dad, because, things would be great. And then my dad would come in and fucking blow it up and ruin it for everybody. So we get used to that pattern and we internalize that abuser's bullshit into our brain, which is why we've got to make sure what we are thinking, how are we thinking it? How are we saying it? And boot that stuff out of our head. And it took me a long time working with a therapist and journaling and writing things out to understand that I had conditioned myself to not ever really enjoy the moment because it was going to get ruined. Wow. So it's normal in recovering from an abusive relationship, because that our abusers constantly think about it. They ruin birthdays, they ruin anniversaries, they ruin Christmas, they ruin Thanksgiving, they ruin Halloween, they ruin 4th of July, they ruin any time that anybody's going to get together, and it should be a fun time. Those times should be fun. But what an abuser does is they come in and they fucking ruin it for everyone, because they're miserable pieces of shit and they don't want anybody else to be happy. So we then learn to never be happy, and that's not healthy. That's not normal. So this is why it's really important to get with a good therapist to work on that trauma, to put this inner dialogue to bed. Nope, I am not going to wait for the other shoe to drop. Thank you for playing. Have a nice day. Why? Because I say so. I am the boss. That abuser's not the boss. They're dead. Thank God. I am the boss. I am going to enjoy this moment. Why? Because I fucking say so. And it really does take repetition. Remember, it takes 90 days of repeating something for it to become a habit. You got to repeat it. You've got to keep putting this down. You got to keep living in the moment, not in the future that has not and probably will not happen, not in the past that's already dead and gone. You've got to live in the moment. So yes, everything you're feeling, totally normal. Totally normal. I just want to validate that. Absolutely normal. 110%. So when you get the whole waiting on something to happen, you got to go, nope, I'm going to thought stop that right there in its tracks. Not my thought. This is conditioned behavior. I'm not doing it anymore. I get to enjoy this moment. thank you very much, or fuck you very much. We're done. See where I'm going with that? So yeah, it is 100% normal. So journal, 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 confront, 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 confront. You always confront the negative, nasty thought. You smack it down. You replace it with the polar opposite. I'm not going to wait for the shoe to drop. I'm having fun and I'm enjoying myself. So fuck off. See where I'm going with that? So that's what you do. Yes, that is 100% normal. So don't beat yourself up. It's normal. It's what we do. When we come out of an abuse like that, that's what we do, because we know that the abuser is going to come in and ruin it. So when they're dead and gone and we've been taking care of them for, years, we get conditioned to wait for the other shoe to drop. No more. No more. Nope. Not going to wait for the shoe to drop. Fuck you. Be gone. Be gone, be gone, be gone. Send it off. All right. Please remind us what to ask and what to look for when looking for a good therapist to help us recover from abuse. Okay. A good therapist will tell you what their modality is. So when I talk to people on the phone, and they say, hi, I'd really love to book an appointment. I go, okay, well, let me tell you a little bit about what I do so I make sure that we're a good fit. Because I am not for everybody, people. I am very blunt. I am. And I don't put up with victimhood. I don't. It's like if somebody's just wanting to come onto my couch and sit there and whine about their lives and not change anything, I'm not interested. There may be therapists out there that are more into the money that would be willing to sit there and listen to somebody for, years on end and never change. I'm not that therapist. So I tell people up front, okay, I do CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. That means we are going to work on mistaken thoughts, mistaken beliefs. We are going to work on the lies that you've told yourself. I do assign homework assignments. Sessions are 45 minutes long. I use a lot of humor. I do. And I swear like a goddamn sailor. So if that's a problem, let me know and I'll try not to drop the F-bomb so much. And usually at that point, people are like, yeah, that's great. I swear too. And I'm like, sweet. Occasionally I'll get the person that goes, oh, I don't like swearing. Okay, well, I'm just letting you know. Good. You let me know. So now I can not drop the F-bomb. That's good. You want somebody who tells you what their modality is. Boom, off front. That's what I said. CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. What is that? Well, that's working on the mistaken thoughts and the mistaken beliefs. That's what I use, although I am eclectic in my approach. So you want somebody who's open and honest with what they're using. And you want somebody who's open and honest, who's like, letting you know how it's going to go. It's like it's 45 minutes long. I've had people come and sit down and be like, well, I thought you said it was an hour. No, it's 45 minutes because those 15 minutes I have to pee and I have to write notes. So there you go. And plus the fact I give people information like that. So usually by the end of the 45 minutes, they're like, can I be excused? My brain is full. So yeah. So you want somebody who's open and honest, transparent, upfront, lets you know what the cost is, lets you know what their modality is. And you need to ask questions. So here's the questions you need to ask. What is your experience in working with victims or targets of domestic violence? Do you have experience in working with somebody who has been targeted by a narcissist? If they waver, if they, oh, well, I don't like to label. Abort, go away, go to somebody else. Because you're dealing with a humanist there and they're not going to be able to help you because they're going to side with the abuser. So anyway, you want to ask them, what's your training in this? How many have you worked with victims of domestic violence? Have you worked with, et cetera, fill in the blank? So when people ask me, it's like, I worked in the homeless shelter. I dealt with people that were abused from itty bitty all the way up. So, it's like, I've read as much as I can possibly read on the subject. You ask them a lot of questions. You do. And you try to get word of mouth referrals. I don't advertise. I don't have to. Clients go out and go, oh my God, you have to see this therapist. She really moved me forward. And that's what you're looking for. You're looking for a therapist that's not just going to let you sit on the couch and go, oh, poor me. No, you want a therapist that goes, okay, I get it. You were abused. This is horrible. This is awful. This is terrible. Now what? How are we going to move forward? How are we going to live the best life? How are we going to get you better so that you are living well? That's what we want. So yeah, I do occasionally get clients that sit down on my couch and are just like, all they want to do is complain, and I don't put up with it. I don't. So you need a therapist whose personality meshes with what you need. And like I said, I don't mesh with everybody. I'm too blunt for some people. I am too honest for some people. I am too, swearing for some people. And those are not my clients. I'm not their therapist. They need to find somebody that they mesh with. So if you have specific things that that you won't work well with, let the therapist know. Do you, are you very outgoing? Are you are you loud? Are you, things like that. It just depends. So you ask the questions that you need to have answered. So that means like, okay, How long have you been doing this? What is your success rate? What is, what is your modality? How do you tell if somebody's moving forward or not? What are the sessions like? Things like that. It's like with anything, it amazes me that nobody really quizzes their therapist when they go in to see them. It's like they just book an appointment. And I'm just like, because I had one person that was like, oh, no, I just want to book an appointment. I'm like, oh, no, I'm going to tell you how it's going to go because you need to know. Because I don't want you to waste your money driving all the way out to my place and then sit down and go, oh, yeah, you're not the therapist for me. No, I don't want that. So do you see where I'm going with that? And some therapists, quite frankly, are only interested in the money. And you can kind of tell because they'll just let clients sit there for years. Woody Allen, anyone. So do you see where I'm going with that? So anyway, there's that. So, all right. I hope that answered the question. If it didn't, let me know. Since getting away, I am overwhelmed by decision-making. Lists help, but I am also fearful of making a wrong choice. How do you find a way to start making a decision? Okay, that's the fear, isn't it? What if I do the wrong thing? What if? You got to put that to bed, babe. We're going to make wrong choices. It's going to happen. Shit's going to go sideways. It does. This is not a perfect planet and we are not perfect people. So you give yourself permission to make the best choice you can with the most information you can, and you forgive yourself if it goes wrong. That's all there is to it. That's all there is to it. When shit goes sideways in my life, I go, okay, well, that didn't work out. Next. And you just keep moving. You learn from it. You forgive yourself. You move forward. So where we get stuck is in the perfect pictures. Hold on just a second. And this is part of abuse. Oh, good point. Oh, boy, am I glad you brought this one up. Hang on. We get stuck in the perfect pictures. Why? Because when we are with our abuser has generally demanded that we be perfect. They are the least perfect people walking the face of the planet. They're the ones that are screaming and yelling and hurting and harming and abusing, and yet they're turning around and telling us that we need to be perfect. Don't you dare cry. Don't you dare be angry at me. Don't you dare have emotion. You better fill in the blank. You better get straight A's, or you better get that job promotion, or you better pay those bills, or you better. It's like you have to be perfect, Well, you can't cry, you can't be upset, you can't. So there's a whole world of like perfect pictures combined with non-permission pictures. So we get this idea that we have to be perfect. We are not perfect. We're not. Trust me. Nobody is, especially the abusers. They like to think they are, but they're not. We make mistakes. So we get what I like to call, and everybody else does too, analysis paralysis. So what happens is we come out of an abusive relationship where possibly the abuser has been making all of our decisions for us. Now, there are some abusers out there that tell us what to wear, what kind of makeup to wear or not wear, how to do our hair, where we're going to go that day, where are you at? What are you doing? Who are you with? It's like we don't make a decision for days, weeks, months, years, decades. So, we get out of that, and now we're faced with making our own decisions. And now we're faced with, what if? What if I make a mistake? What if? Well, what was the consequence when you were with your abuser if you made a mistake? Probably not pretty good. It was probably pretty mean. So we get afraid of making a wrong choice, or we get afraid of what if? You have really got to tell the what ifs to go fuck themselves sideways with an unlubricated baseball bat, because you're going to make mistakes. It's going to happen. I've made missteps. Abso-fucking-lutely. I will probably continue to make missteps until the day I die. I'm human. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. And guess what? I'm human. So I go, okay, what did I learn? Okay, well, let's not do that again. Okay, let's move on. What's the next best step moving forward? Self-compassion and forgiveness. We don't have a whole lot of that when we come out of an abusive relationship, because our abuser has never been compassionate, has never been forgiving, has never been kind, except in the beginning when they were love bombing, And so if we do make a misstep or a mistake, they will, oh, well, you did this and you did this. And do you remember when you did this? And what about this? And and they just fucking drill it into you. Like they're like, Christ on a cross, perfect, never made a mistake in their lives. What? Yeah. So that's part of where it's coming from. So you start by giving yourself permission to make mistakes. They're going to happen. They're going to happen. And when they do, you forgive yourself. And then you go, okay, what did I learn? What can I do differently? All right, let's do this. And then you just keep going. So it's analysis paralysis. So what I would suggest doing is, seriously, I would write a letter to your abuser and burn it. And in the letter, I would say, you know what, motherfucker, I am going to make my own decisions. And you know what? I may make mistakes. And you know what else? That's okay. And whatever else you need to say to them, and then burn it. Let it go. So give yourself permission. You're going to make mistakes, and it's okay. It's okay. Congratulations, you're human. It's okay. All right. I was the victim of a second-degree battery. My attacker is facing an 8-year sentence. I had broken bones, and he could have killed me. I was told that because of the severity, I will have to testify. Knowing that this is in the future, I think this is causing me panic attacks. How do I get ready to testify in court and face the abuse all over again? You practice in the mirror. So here's what you have to do. You either get with a trusted friend or whatever, and you start practicing in the mirror. You are going to want to talk to the district attorney and tell them your concerns. You know, I'm terrified. I'm reliving the abuse. You know, can you walk me through this? What are the questions they're going to ask? What can I expect? What do I need to know? There should be a victim's advocate wherever you are. Usually most, of course, then I'm in Arizona, so who knows? In most courts, my understanding of it is, in domestic violence situations, there is a victim's advocate that will help you through the questions. So what you're going to start doing is you're going to start preparing yourself by practicing in the mirror so that you get used to it. And if you have a panic attack, or you can just practice out loud. You don't have to look at yourself. You can just practice out loud. But if you get a panic attack, you just breathe. Breathe, sweetheart. Breathe. You're okay. You're safe. So yeah, you are going to have to testify. And please do, because what happens is when a target of abuse has been abused to that point and they don't testify, it makes it hard for the DA to prosecute. You don't want to give this guy a pass. Don't give him a second chance. Dear God. So you're going to want to talk to the DA, ask them if there's a victim's advocate, tell them your concerns, start practicing, because your voice needs to be heard. This is your opportunity to say, this is what happened to me. No more. I'm not putting up with it. This person needs to go away forever and a day. Throw away the key. Thank you very much. Do you see where I'm going with that? So you're going to want to start practicing, and you need to talk to the DA and you need to talk to the victim's advocate. Okay, I'm going to have to wrap it up here pretty soon. So hang on just a second. There's a couple more questions. Hang on. My ex-wife has made suicide attempts, stealing medication, drug abuse, and she is now in a relationship with a sex offender. Now, 10 years later, she blames me for everything, but I would still consider taking her back. Oh my God, why? Inner child work. So who does she remind you of? So why do you feel responsible for her? And why, more importantly, do you feel you deserve to be treated like doo-doo? Why is that? Why? What is going on with that? This is something to do with the inner child. When we continue, it's just like the person I was telling you about with the lottery that was like, oh, if I won the lottery, I'd give it to my abuser because, you know, they had a terrible childhood and blah, 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 blah. Whoa, stop. They abuse the shit out of you. Why the fuck are you still caretaking them? It's called codependency. So it's codependency. Look it up. Read about it. So The Disease to Please by Harriet Breaker. Codependent No More by Melanie Beattie. Beyond Codependent No More by Melanie Beattie. Self-Esteem Workbook by Glenn Schiraldi. People who love themselves do not put up with abuse ever, at any time, anywhere. So it has to do with the original wound. What is the original wound? When did you get damaged? How did you get groomed to take care of abusers? Who groomed you to do that? What were the messages you got when you were a kid? Complex Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder, From Surviving to Thriving by Pete Walker. Pick it up, read it. Nobody deserves to be abused. And abusers do not need your sympathy, your time, your love, or your attention. They don't. Trust me on that one. So this has to do with a self-esteem issue. This has to do with codependency. This has to do with feeling responsible for somebody else's emotions and situation in life. Okay, I'm going to cut it off there, guys, because I'm getting tired. Come see me in California starting next Saturday. All dates are up on Eventbrite. Search for Chris Godina's Mercury Eventbrite. Also, don't forget about the cruise in December. Please do sign up early for that. And I cannot think of anything else because I am done braining. All right. Have a great day, guys, and I will talk to you next week. Wait, will I talk to you next week? I may or may not do a show next week. I haven't decided yet. So anyway, I will talk to you later. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.